Addiction has been one of society's most complex and vexing problems. It crosses all cultures and socio-economic levels, takes a severe toll on human lives, and increases healthcare costs. Addiction is a disease, as listed in the DSM-4 of the American Psychiatric Association. It's a disease of relationships, lack of human ones, and a compensatory attachment to other things. It is also a disease of attitudes.
It was almost every day for 45 days. And this was the life. I started drinking more. More and more it went on increasing all the time. So I got caught in this. I was just trying to escape from my problems, which wasn't possible. The drinks were creating more problems for me. Then the drinks became too much. Means I never knew. After coming to Kripa, now I came to know how the drinks went on increasing slowly. Drink is not the solution for problem. That's what I realized, and that's a great thing for me, because drinking is not the solution for any problem.
World Health Organization talks about the success rate being not even 2%. What is our success rate? In the first year, it is 68%, 65 to 75% in the first year, which is the highest in the world. But what's the World Health Organization record? 2%.
When I progressed to cocaine and meth, I had a heart attack, I had a stroke, my lungs collapsed, I had bronchitis. And I'm just 18 years old.
I felt I was all alone. I did not think about my wife, I did not think about my daughter, just recently born.
I made many attempts to stay sober without anyone's help because I thought I'd be a coward if I went to someone for help.
I started robbing here and there, selling things of the house. I came to a rock bottom at that time, even begging.
I kept on relapsing, I kept going back to the substance.
There is a perennial rock bottom that stares me in the face every day I wake up to sobriety, and that is that today I am 100% dependent on my substance.
With a worldwide average of only 2% of addicts finding long-term sobriety, what kind of hope is there? One NGO in India has been making huge progress in the treatment of addiction. With a current average of 65%, this is the Kripa Foundation. What are the reasons for their huge success in a field where so many professionals are failing to keep their patients clean? The easiest way to find a pathway out of addiction is to walk in the steps of those who have gone before us. Almost all of the positions within the organization are held by addicts who have found sobriety through working the Kripa program.
One thing is there that the addicts will not listen to the doctor, he will not listen to a teacher, but he will listen to another addict. They are totally in denial. And this denial is so powerful that you keep on denying that you have problems with addiction. I have been an addict for past 20 years and I really suffered. Like I was a living dead man until some addict did help me to come out of it. And once that denial goes, then you begin to understand the spiritual factor of it. Getting out of addiction, coming into yoga, coming into meditation. Coming back, their life is transformed.
The strength of one addict helping another is without parallel.
Abbas, who has suffered from addiction, depression, not psychosis but something similar to that, we're both on psychiatric pills. He can understand my problems and he can help me. I don't think there's anything more therapeutic in the world than one addict sharing his story with another addict and receiving help from another addict. Because what's the point of talking to people who don't even know that addiction is a disease? They think that you're a bad person.
There was something within me that I need to help others, like my co-users, whoever.
the people who are suffering, who are getting addicted.
I try to get them into the family because it's a community-based therapy, and I make them feel at home because even I've gone through the entire process when I was a patient 5 years back. So I need to understand the pain the patient is going through, and I need to get him into the comfort zone.
The fellowship of NA and the fellowship of Kripa, it makes me feel like a part of a family. You know, it makes me feel whole again. There's a board over there ahead which says that none of us is as strong as all of us. NA has helped me in such a way. I mean, when I share, that load gets lifted off my chest. And when that load gets lifted off my chest, beautiful things happen, miraculous things happen to me.
It took me about 2 years to accept the fact that I am an alcoholic. It is very difficult to accept the fact that you are an alcoholic or an addict. That's why I prefer to be inside in Kripa, be with the boys, help them, you know. And it keeps me off my substance as well as keeps me busy all the time. We have an inquiry going on or an admission going on. When patients walk in, the first thing is they fill their dockets, they and the family are made to understand the program, the need for the family to be here every time on Saturdays for the FST meeting.
And they call it the FST, Family Support Therapy, and where they help them also to see that when your relative comes home, how to take care of yourself and the patient so that you can live happily after without any mood altering substance in between.
Addiction is a disease that starts with the individual and slowly seeps into the family and the society. At Kripa, we understand how essential it is to include families within the treatment program to help with long-term sobriety.
One thing made me think was that I am going in a wrong track was my father's death. My father also expired because of alcohol. He had a liver damage. He was also an alcoholic.
While I was in Kripa, my husband expired. Because there were many times that he was in the treatment and he would run away for 4 or 5 long years, and finally one morning he was dead in his bed.
My name is Purnima. Somewhere along the line my son became an addict. His wife told me how grave and serious the problem was. He broke down and he confided in me, and he said that now I just can't help it. And Al-Anon has become my religion, whatever, the 12 steps, the traditions. And as the other lady shared, I apply to in every situation of my life. There are times when that fear grips me, I feel guilty. I must have done something for him to be like that. Where did I go wrong? Where did I go wrong? But then I realized that no, I did not cause it. I cannot control it and I cannot cure it.
The reason that you're feeling this resentment is probably because you feel somewhere for that person and it's about your loved one. And I think every time you get restless and lose patience and there's more resentment building in you, you just say these 4 words, 4 lines or 4 sentences, short sort of words to your loved ones, where you really say that I love you, I'm sorry, forgive me, and thank you.
Kripa stood by me in my worst times and will stand by me even in this time. What more do I need? Nothing.
I am sober from last 35 days. I never sat with my family before when I was in my alcoholic. I so much joy that my family, which was united.
Obsessive and compulsive addictions include work, sex, food, gambling, and many more. Polydrug abuse is experienced and observed across the globe. With so many forms of addiction, you cannot simply focus on the symptoms of addiction to stay clean. Whole person recovery begins with a commitment to a drug-free lifestyle. The chief aim of this personal growth is to move from alienation towards social reintegration.
People look at rehab in a very limited vision.
While I was in
just to
Kripa,
get the people off
my husband
chemicals
expired.
in the body, and some level of
Because
understanding
there were many
issues related to it and
times
set up a support system.
that he
And
was
by
in
and
the
large,
treatment
within a month or so
and
of
he would run
treatment,
away.
people are back on the streets.
Addiction, you can't play games. If you're not absolutely on the wavelength of recovery, you fall. While we talk about, it's not only staying away from the drugs, it's all about a change of lifestyle, but how do you change a lifestyle? So yoga becomes a way of life, and that's what we talk about in Kripa.
When I came into Kripa, yoga was something very alien to me, and during my process as a patient, I used to experience a lot of excruciating pain in my bones and knees and hands and necks and everything. But slowly, by practicing yoga on a daily basis and by imbibing this also to my clients, I've seen that a lot of changes have happened in my body, physically, mentally and spiritually also.
We use a modified protocol of yoga asanas and pranayam and meditation. It's called the Kripa Iyengar yoga model. It's a registered model and it's in the process of being trademarked.
Yeah, my name is Ersan and I'm a yoga instructor for Kripa Foundation. What we were searching for from a high through alcohol and addiction, we can get this naturally. The feeling of well-being, you find like your serotonin levels really boosted up. The stillness of the body will bring the stillness of the mind.
I feel relaxed, relaxed mind, relaxed body. The power of concentration of your mind increases, and if you just focus on it, it's nice. It's really good. Especially I feel relaxed, especially this asana when we go with our legs up and head down. That is quite relaxing. It's like starting a day again. It's fresh. You become fresh, and it's nice. And in the night you get a good sleep also.
You can rest your head, the legs on the floor, on the wall.
Możemy następnie oprzeć nogi o ścianę.
But then you lift them up.
A potem znowuż do pozycji pionowej.
You can remain like this for half an hour.
Half an hour. Można tak przez pół godziny zostać.
You will feel absolutely rejuvenated.
The practice of endorphins release through yoga is really something that we are looking forward to as part of the therapeutic process. We would like people to use their own endorphin opium sources rather than get it from elsewhere. And you get side benefits like good spiritual growth. It's the area called the substantia nigra. It's deep in the brain. So therefore, if a person is getting enough dopamine released at the time of certain activities, the inference is that that's good.
God, grant us the serenity to accept the things we cannot change, and knowledge, change the things we can and deserve to know the truth.
The program is completely with love and compassion. They love the people, those who come for help there. So he follows the Mother Teresa's love and affection, Guruji's yoga, and he combines both of that.
Medication in Kripa is very limited, only where it is necessary, whereas more emphasis is there on meditation and yoga. Father Joe's Kripa Foundation Iyengar Yoga has a sequence of asanas that helps them in the withdrawal symptoms. And you will see that those who do yoga during the detox period, they get out of withdrawals faster.
And the best way to mend your body back to life is with yoga and meditation.
Encouraging at the moment. Cellular studies related to chemokines indicate certain type of chemoreceptors which are activated and certain chemicals which are being beneficially released at this time by yoga practices. We'll get to a point in which we may not require too many medicines, because this is our Kripa approach. We do not feel that a chemical problem is to be addressed by chemicals. It has to be done by something else, because there's a limitation on both sides. There's only so many chemicals you can give a person. They've been used to chemicals, so in a way it would be reinforcing the idea that they should use chemicals.
I now started putting on weight, my appetite has come back. I no longer shiver, I don't tremble, no more rigors, no chills. You know, I mean, I'm physically much better. I won't say I've recovered, but I am on the road to recovery, you know, because of yoga. It's all because of yoga.
There are like patients with all different kinds of, all bodies are not similar. One is having asthmatic problem, one is having cardiac, one is having kidneys. It was a little challenging for me, but I went through all in that initial stages through the father guidance, whatever protocol, whatever sequence has to be done. I used to take notes and I used to take his guidance. That way I have learned the yoga.
When Guruji gave me the first time a protocol for mental health, he gave me a whole series of back extension. The spine has the energy of life. There are certain postures where there is a proportionate pressure put on the occipital brain, the cerebellum, by which the hypothalamus gets activated.
If the brain goes this way, you are in a thinking mode. So the medulla oblongata has to be stretched. In Iyengar yoga, accuracy is very important.
And the pituitary and pineal gland and adrenal gland help to bring in the opposite of the sympathetic nervous system syndrome, which is parasympathetic nervous system.
The sympathetic and parasympathetic systems are part of what is called the autonomic nervous system. To live, to survive and carry out your functions, you need both. What's even more important is you need them both to be in a state of balance. Too much of one creates a problem, too much of the other creates another type of problem. The holistic technology that is utilized and practiced helps to balance these two in the conscious level. We want that in our conscious lives. We want a good balance.
This, when it happens on the level of the cells, you don't need to convince this man. He walks out on the session already saying, aha, I got it. This is authenticity.
Through meditative therapy, addicts experience a quiet mind. When an addict learns to relax into their body and mind, then this relaxation becomes a natural reaction to the powerful impulses to use substances. Cravings that would at one time completely control the addict's mind no longer have the strength to change the addict's behavior.
Because a person finds some kind of, relatively speaking, some wholeness, we can talk about holiness.
Praying is what? Nothing but talking to God. And meditation would be listening. Because here you are silent. The only thing that you can hear is your breath in and out. And that itself is an acknowledgement that this breath is not my own, but God given only. As long as that life is there within me, I will breathe.
So, in 2009, I came across a major crisis and I came across a road accident. It was a touch and go, where I had broken my forearm, I had broken my femur, and I was in shambles. It was very serious, and I think it was not for my helmet. I think it would have been another story. There would be a picture of mine on the wall. I underwent 9 major surgeries, corrective surgeries, and I recollect that in the hospital they would give fantastic painkillers, fantastic. I call it painkiller because I know that most of my boys' mouth will water if I take the names. High, strong doses. And I remember telling the doctor that, okay, don't tell me what you're doing for my operation. Don't give me, you tell me what you're going to give me. But after that, I refused to take painkillers. And I would just try to pray, and not unknowingly, what I was doing was actually I was meditating. And then I imagined that I was to catch a bloodstream, a blood vessel, and move it down in my body and go to the pain and actually feel like it is welding that pain, like a welder welding with the sparks coming. And believe me, the pain would disappear.
We looked at the chemicals in the brain, dopamine, and we saw the sort of results that you get out of dopamine. And we saw serotonin, and we saw the results that you can get out of it. So on the one hand, you have pleasure and competence, capability. On the other hand, you had relaxation, comfort, a certain joyousness. When you put these two into balance, you are now sitting on an absolutely wonderful jelly bubble, right? But you've centered it, you've balanced it through your meditation. So you aren't being directed, you aren't internally being directed to any state of deficiency. You're complete at that time. So as long as you remain complete at that time, there is no issue of impulse control. Your impulse is static. Sounds strange coming from a medical professional, but we find that the spiritual element is extremely strong, and people who live lives of addiction actually have negated their spiritual element for a long period of time. So when they start recovering it through these holistic practices, they see themselves and they see the environment in an entirely different light. The methodology is that we are quite clear. Chemicals alone, medicines alone, or psychological evaluations and management alone are not the answer, because they are limited. Holistic approaches, which include methodologies which tap potentials within the individual and help them gain a better understanding of their real nature and what they need to do to create changes to facilitate their reintegration with society.
It's the whole model. I can't pick up one part and say that, only this has helped me. It makes it difficult for me to understand that. Because I need the 12 steps. I need all the tools of recovery. I need my family system. I need my family to support me. I need my sponsor. I need my AA meetings. But the most important thing is, I need another human being to respect me and talk to me. This is very difficult and challenging at times when you're out in the world.
The way these different elements combine is the reason that Kripa is so successful in the treatment of addiction. Although our work is of a serious nature, the best work is done with an open heart and a generous smile. Our organization works on rehabilitating street children who used drugs and were exposed to the horrors of growing up on the streets.
Children, this is another big problem. In the past 15 years, the percentage of drinking population aged under 21 years has increased from 2% to 14%. This is horrible. Today, more than 65% of India's population is under the age of 45 years of age. Close to 50% of them are under 25 years of age. 50% of 50%, 25% of the population of India are using ethanol.
Yeah, we have a center for the street children. Right now we have 7 children, 7 kids. They stays there, they go to school. They used to roam on the street and they were in their addiction with the dendrite and whitener and thinner, whatever it is. They used to inhale, but now they are away from their addiction. They goes to school, they stays there. We are going to our center, you can see the center, you can see the kids, you can meet the kids.
घुटनों को मोड़ना नहीं है, ऐसे मोड़ना नहीं है, घुटनों को मोड़ना नहीं है और नीचे की ओर जाने की कोशिश करनी है। हाथ आगे और आगे, नीचे, पैर ज़मीन पे, ये ज़मीन पे, they are sleeping.
It's a slum area, it's a mix, you can say there is a lot of problem of addiction and various addiction, alcoholism is there and drug addiction is there. We are making the awareness of this concept. Like addiction, it's a disease, and we are dealing with that disease. And we as a team, Kripa Foundation, for the street kids also, and the regular addicts also, adult addicts also. These are the postures they can do in the withdrawals, so it helps them. Inner strength also and mental stability also. Yoga meditation, we have a Iyengar yoga model, Kripa. The same thing we are following in this center also. And it is not just part of following this thing, it is helping them. It is helping them. He used to focus on the other things, on the substance, on the friends, on the roaming with the kids he used to do in that addiction period. He was not at all able to focus on his family life, on his studies and social this thing. With the yoga, he feel physically fitness, inner strength, and of course mental stability. He now is able to, with the meditation and yoga, he is able to focus one thing. He is able to focus on his studies. He is able to focus on his life. Like I want to live a good life. He is in 5th standard in Urdu medium, and he is doing well, enjoying life.
He is thinking that each and every staff is helping them to for their better future. Now he is feeling good, and he wants to learn more things in the yoga.
Like that, you know. So they are very happy. Now they will enjoy the party and they will dance, they will have fun. Exciting thing for them.
Therefore, we need to bow our heads in prayer and ask the Lord to make our homes homes of love.
Jesus knows our everything.
This kind of work especially requires a kind, loving nature.
He's a Catholic priest with over 45 years of being in the priesthood. He's a person coming from a Hindu background, Hinduistic background. And he is a yoga practitioner for over 45 years, very close for all this time with Guruji BKS Iyengar, so he has the best experience, best knowledge, and he's an experienced yoga teacher. That's why I say he's all in one, and we need him there in the West.
I had operation on the heart, and Father Pereira shows me some asanas that really helped me. I had no blood in my hands, making asanas with hands up, and after 2 days I feel that it's better. That maybe one day I can take off my peacemaker and live without it. Yoga can help with addictions. I am also addicted. I am compulsive overeater. Yoga helped me very much. Yoga, meditation.
Most welcome. Most welcome. Most welcome.
One of the biggest problems in the West, the misinterpretation of yoga, was missing out this point. And Carl Gustav Jung warned the Westerners
that they will never be able to understand yoga if they tried to practice it with Descartes' teachings of materialism. It doesn't go. So they have ended up, many people in the West have ended up by making yoga an exercise, a very male-oriented, macho version of yoga. What we are doing is, through the use of the breath, through the use of the spirit, we are telling people the importance of the feminine within us. Yoga is, you have to work with the feminine, which is the breath. You have to work with the Mother Earth, which is feminine. Yoga is not a religion. It's open to any concept, any belief, but it's not a religion. It's a science.
My name is Pavel Savinsky. In English, this is Paul. I'm an English teacher, but I teach less and less, and I tend to work more with meditation. Yoga practice with Father is something very natural to me, but it is at the same time something exceptional. When Father came to Poland first time to our workshop, since then we have started a group called 12 Steps, so steps, yoga and meditations. And we try to follow the Kripa method. A lot of restorative asanas, restorative poses. It is difficult for people who are addicted to remain silent, to stay with themselves. They are always distracted, looking for something that will please them, that will easily and quickly satisfy them. They are experts, so to say. In those meetings, 12-step program, they see a change. They say there is a difference in the meetings that we organize, that we hold. Yoga did not derive from a religious background.
The potential for addiction is a human failing. It's a natural thing. It's in our DNA. So there's no question of win and loss. It's a question of understanding that this is something that is a part of human nature and human behavior, and you deal with it so that you identify the issues as early as possible and try to create change which is beneficial at all levels.
Finally, I would just like to say that what has Kripa given me? What has this program given me? The most unique thing that has ever happened in my life. It has given me my self-worth.
Yoga and meditation are proven tools for the recovery from addiction, and if practiced with proper guidance, will give you freedom beyond anything you can imagine. The solution to addiction lies within the addict. The only thing you need are the right tools and guidance to make these ideas a reality.